Your alarm goes off. You hit snooze. Then you stumble to the kitchen, make yourself a coffee, maybe check your phone. Normal morning. But 50,000 years ago, your ancestor woke up to something completely different. No alarm, no coffee, no phone. Just cold stone ground, total darkness, and the sound of something large moving outside the cave. So what did a real Stone Age day actually look like? The answer is stranger and more brutal than anything you learned in school. The Stone Age day started before sunrise, not because our ancestors were particularly motivated, because they had no choice. Sleeping too long meant missing the best hunting hours. It meant predators had more time to approach the camp, and it meant the fire might go out. The fire was the first thing Ugg checked every single morning. Not food, not his family. The fire. Because without it, everything else was in danger. Fire kept predators away. A circle of firelight, roughly 10 meters wide, was the only safe zone in a world full of things that could kill you. Beyond that circle, leopards, hyenas, cave lions, animals that could see perfectly in the dark, animals that had been watching the camp all night. Muga was up at almost the same moment, gathering wood, bringing the fire back to life, checking on the children. There was no concept of not a morning person in the Stone Age. You woke up, you worked. That was the only option. The internal clock that woke them needed no alarm. Their bodies were tuned to the sun. In a way, most of us have completely lost. Scientists have found that when modern humans spend just 1 week without artificial light, their bodies reset to this ancient rhythm within days. Your body still knows how to do this. You just never give it the chance. Breakfast looked nothing like yours. There was no bread, no cereal, no yogurt. Whatever they ate this morning was whatever they had found or killed yesterday. Most mornings that meant leftovers, the remains of a deer, roasted again over the fire until the meat was dark and tough. Roots dug from the ground nearby, buried in the hot ashes to soften overnight. If the hunt had failed, maybe nothing at all. Here is something that surprises most people. Stone Age humans did not eat 3 meals a day. They ate when food was available. Some days meant 2 large meals, other days, nothing. Your body still remembers this rhythm. It is why intermittent fasting works so well for so many people. Your metabolism was built for exactly this pattern. The 3-meal-a-day schedule is less than 200 years old. Your biology is 50,000 years old. If they had honey, which was rare, and required climbing a tree full of angry bees, they would eat every single drop immediately. Your brain still treats sugar exactly the same way. That craving you feel at 10 in the evening is not weakness. It is a 50,000-year-old survival program that has not been updated yet. By mid-morning, the men were gone. Hunting was not casual. It was the most dangerous job that has ever existed in human history. A group of 3 to 5 men left camp together. Always together. Alone, a human is slow, relatively weak, and completely exposed. Together, they could coordinate, communicate silently, and take down animals 10 times their individual size. They carried spears, wooden shafts with sharp stone tips, carefully crafted over hours of work. They had been making and repairing tools like these since they were small children. A broken spear mid-hunt was not an inconvenience. It could be fatal. Tracking an animal could take the entire day. Reading footprints in the mud, watching which direction the birds flew, smelling the wind. These men knew every tree, every water source, every animal trail, within a full day's walk of their camp. That knowledge was never written down anywhere. It lived entirely in their heads, passed from father to son, for hundreds of generations. And when they finally got close enough, crouching in tall grass, barely breathing, hearts hammering, the attack had to be fast, coordinated, and completely committed. There was no second chance. The animal was bigger, faster, and armed with horns or hooves that could kill a man. Most hunts failed. That was simply the reality. They went out knowing the odds were against them. And they went anyway, every day, because the tribe had to eat. But here's the part of Stone Age life that nobody talks about. A broken leg was a death sentence. Not because the bone could not heal. It could. But a broken leg meant you could not hunt, you could not gather, you could not walk to the next water source. You became a burden at a time when the tribe was already fighting for survival every single day. Infant mortality was somewhere between 30 and 50%. Half of all children born did not survive to see their 5th birthday. Not because their parents did not love them, because there were no doctors, no protection against infectious disease, no medicine beyond whatever plants the women had learned to use, over generations. This is the life that built you, not the comfortable version, the real version. Every single instinct you have, your fear of darkness, your love of fat and sugar, your need to belong to a group, was forged in exactly this world. Back at camp, while the men hunted, the women worked just as hard. The difference was their work was less visible and far more reliable. Gathering food was a full-time job. Muga and the other women walked for hours every single day, searching for roots, berries, nuts, mushrooms, and edible plants. They knew which plants were safe to eat and which ones would kill you within hours. That knowledge, built up and refined over thousands of years, was as valuable as any spear. Studies of modern hunter-gatherer tribes consistently show the same finding. Women gathered between 60 and 80% of the calories the tribe consumed every day. The hunters made the kills that everyone remembered and celebrated, but the gatherers were what kept everyone alive between those kills. And while gathering, they were also teaching. Every plant, every mushroom, every root that Lila learned to identify came from Muga, walking slowly through the forest, pointing, explaining, repeating. No classroom, no textbook, just the forest, and a mother who knew it better than anyone. Around midday, the pace slowed. Not laziness. Strategy. The midday heat on the African savanna was genuinely dangerous. Moving too much meant losing water and energy you could not afford to lose. This rest time was not wasted. The older men who stayed at camp spent it making and repairing tools. Shaping a stone blade was a skill that required years to master. One wrong strike, and the whole flint would shatter. Get it right, and you had a cutting edge sharper than most modern kitchen knives, made entirely by hand, from a rock. The children watched, then they practiced, then they helped. From the age of 5 or 6, Stone Age children were expected to contribute to the tribe, collecting firewood, carrying water, watching younger siblings. There was no school, but every moment of every day was an education in staying alive. Late afternoon was the most anxious part of the day. The hunters had not come back yet. Every hour they were gone was one more hour something could have gone wrong. When they finally appeared at the edge of camp, sometimes carrying a deer, sometimes empty-handed, the reaction was immediate and visible. A successful hunt meant the whole tribe ate well that night. Empty hands meant another day of roots and berries, and trying again tomorrow. When the hunt succeeded, the entire camp came to life at once. Every person had a role. Ugg and the other hunters cut the meat. Muga and the women prepared the hide, which would become clothing, bags, or blankets. Children carried bowls. Elders supervised. Nothing was wasted. Not the bones, not the fat, not the organs. Everything that could be used was used, because nothing could be taken for granted. As the sun went down, the whole tribe gathered around the fire. And this was the most important part of the day. Anthropologist Polly Weisner spent years recording conversations among one of the last hunter-gatherer tribes, still living a traditional lifestyle. What she found was striking. During the day, 80% of conversations were practical. Who hunts where? Which plants are ready? Basic logistics. But at night, around the fire, everything changed. Over 80% of nighttime conversations were stories, adventures, myths, jokes that made the whole camp laugh. This is where human culture was born. Around fires exactly like this one, your ancestors learned to imagine things that did not exist yet. The campfire was the original school, the original cinema, the original church. Sleep came in two parts. They slept for about 4 hours, woke naturally for an hour of quiet thought, then slept again until dawn. Scientists have proven this. Remove all artificial light from modern humans for a month, and they return to exactly this pattern within weeks. Waking at 2 in the morning is not insomnia. It is your body remembering what it was built to do. Tomorrow, the whole cycle would begin again. Wake before sunrise, check the fire, hunt, gather, make tools, tell stories, sleep. It was hard, it was dangerous, and for most of human history, it was simply life. Next time your alarm goes off and you hit snooze, remember Ugg. He was already up, fire checked, spear in hand, and he did it every single morning, without complaint, for his entire life. Ugg's story is just getting started. Subscribe and find out what comes next. Tell me in the comments which fact surprised you the most. I read every single one,